Under the combined blaze of their radiances, the wilderness that stretched before me became steadily more visible. Soon I seemed able to stare across the whole world, which now appeared beneath the strange light, terrible in its cold and awful flat dreariness. It was a little later that my attention was drawn to the fact that the great star of green flame was slowly sinking out of the north toward the east. At first I could scarcely believe that I saw aright, but soon there could be no doubt that it was so. Gradually it sank, and, as it fell, the vast crescent of glowing green began to dwindle and dwindle, until it became a mere arc of light against the livid colored sky. Later it vanished, disappearing in the selfsame spot from which I had seen it slowly emerge. By this time the star had come to within some 30 degrees of the hidden horizon. In size it could now have rivaled the moon at its full, though even yet I could not distinguish its disk. This fact led me to conceive that it was, still, an extraordinary distance away, and, this being so, I knew that its size must be huge, beyond the conception of man to understand or imagine. Suddenly, as I watched, the lower edge of the star vanished, cut by a straight dark line. A minute, or a century, passed, and it dipped lower, until the half of it had disappeared from sight. Far away out on the great plain I saw a monstrous shadow blotting it out, and advancing swiftly. Only a third of the star was visible now. Then, like a flash, the solution of this extraordinary phenomenon revealed itself to me. The star was sinking behind the enormous mass of the dead sun; or rather the sun, obedient to its attraction, was rising toward it, with the earth following in its trail. As these thoughts expanded in my mind, the star vanished, being completely hidden by the tremendous bulk of the sun. Over the earth there fell, once more, the brooding night. With the darkness came an intolerable feeling of loneliness and dread. For the first time I thought of the pit, and its inmates. After that, there rose in my memory the still more terrible Thing that had haunted the shores of the Sea of Sleep, and lurked in the shadows of this old building. Where were they? I wondered, and shivered, with miserable thoughts. For a time, fear held me, and I prayed, wildly and incoherently, for some ray of light with which to dispel the cold blackness that enveloped the world. How long I waited it is impossible to say, certainly for a very great period. Then, all at once, I saw a loom of light shine out ahead. Gradually it became more distinct. Suddenly a ray of vivid green flashed across the darkness. At the same moment I saw a thin line of livid flame, far in the night. An instant it seemed, and it had grown into a great clot of fire, beneath which the world lay bathed in a blaze of emerald green light. Steadily it grew, until presently the whole of the green star had come into sight again. But now it could scarcely be called a star, for it had increased to vast proportions, being incomparably greater than the sun had been in the olden time. Then, as I stared, I became aware that I could see the edge of the lifeless sun, glowing like a great crescent moon. Slowly its lighted surface broadened out to me, until half of its diameter was visible, and the star began to drop away on my right. Time passed, and the earth moved on, slowly traversing the tremendous face of the dead sun. Gradually, as the earth traveled forward, the star fell still more to the right, until at last it shone on the back of the house, sending a ray of broken rays in through the skeleton-like walls. Glancing upward, I saw that much of the ceiling had vanished, enabling me to see that the upper stories were even more decayed. The roof had, evidently, gone entirely, and I could see the green effulgence of the starlight shining in, slantingly. Chapter 18. Recording by Alan Winterowd. Boomcoach.blogspot.com